All right, let's piece together a truly fascinating puzzle today. We're going to connect a brilliant human mind, a super smart AI, and the very molecules that make up life itself. It's a story about a hidden pattern, one that shows up in the most unbelievable places.
So, what on earth could possibly link human thought, artificial intelligence, and, basic biology? It sounds like a riddle, right? But the answer, well, it suggests they might all be speaking the same fundamental structural language.
Okay, let's dive right in with the first piece of our puzzle. This idea that thought itself actually has a geometric shape.
Now, you've definitely seen tessellations before, maybe in art or floor tiles where all the shapes just fit together perfectly. But in math and physics, they're way more than just pretty patterns. They are incredibly powerful, precise tools for solving complex problems, basically by creating a perfect, gapless map of information.
And that leads to a really cool question. What if our own brains, our own way of thinking, could achieve that same level of geometric perfection when we're organizing ideas?
And this is the absolute core idea of what we're talking about today: cognitive tessellation. Just imagine every single concept, every piece of knowledge you have is like a little tile that fits perfectly next to all its neighbors. No gaps, no overlaps, just one complete, coherent picture of understanding. This isn't just a neat metaphor. It's a model for a seriously powerful way of thinking.
So what does this actually look like inside a real human mind? Well, let's explore a very unique cognitive style called 3D-VT, or three-dimensional visual thinking.
You can think of 3D VT as cognitive tessellation in action. It's a way of thinking that arranges ideas and symbols not in a simple, straight line, but in this complex, multidimensional geometric structure. This mental tiling creates a complete map of knowledge, which makes it an unbelievably effective tool for tackling really tough problems.
Okay, but here's where it gets really fascinating. Why does a brain develop this way? Well, as you can see here, this incredible strength in multidimensional thinking, which is supported by a part of the brain called the rostrolateral prefrontal cortex, it's often a workaround. It's a compensatory strategy that develops to get around a weakness in linear sequential thinking, like struggling to quickly name things. This unique profile, where you have this profound strength right alongside a specific weakness, is known as twice exceptional.
Okay, so we've got this incredible model for human thought based on these geometric patterns. The very next question has to be, can you teach a machine to think like that? And it turns out the answer is a big yes. Researchers are doing this right now. The Turbo framework, for instance, is an AI model designed specifically to reason over complex data tables by copying the exact same principles of structured, pattern-based thinking that we just saw in 3D VT. So, how in the world do you teach an AI to tile information? Well, it's kind of like a four-step training program. First, you get the AI to generate logical pathways, or reasoning traces, from the data. Second, you teach it to think things through before spitting out an answer. Third, you use reinforcement to make the best thinking pathways stronger. And finally, and this is key, you reward the AI not just for being right, but for thinking in the correct, structured way. And that last part, that format reward, is this secret sauce. The AI is literally being incentivized to follow a coherent, systematic process. It's learning that how you get to an answer is just as important as the answer itself. It's learning how to build its very own cognitive tessellation. But this pattern doesn't just stop with our minds and our machines. For our last piece of the puzzle, we're going all the way down to the level of fundamental biology. You see, almost all the proteins in nature are built from what we call L-amino acids. You can think of them as the left-handed version of life's building blocks. But they have a twin, D-amino acids, which are their perfect mirror image, the right-handed version. Now, these are super rare in nature, and their unique structure gives them some really cool properties. Because of that unique mirror image structure, things built from D-amino acids are way more durable, and they interact with our bodies in totally different ways. Get this, researchers have actually created mirror image structures that can selectively target and disrupt cancer cells while leaving healthy cells completely alone. It's pretty amazing. But the story might go even deeper. There's a new, really compelling hypothesis that suggests these rare D-amino acids could be playing a key role in regulating some of our body's most basic systems, like stress and inflammation, by influencing that communication highway between our gut and our brain.
And this isn't just some wild idea. It's grounded in fundamental chemistry. The way our bodies process D-amino acids directly plugs into that critical trio of chemistry in our bodies: oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur.
This means they can influence cellular stress signals, the creation of our neurotransmitters, and the body's entire chemical balance. Their unique structure has a massive effect on their function.
So, now let's pull all three of these threads together. We've looked at cognition, we've looked at computation, and we've looked at chemistry. What is the one pattern that links them all?
Well, first, we saw a human mind that organizes huge amounts of information, not in a straight line, but through these structured, gapless, geometric patterns, a cognitive tessellation.
Then, we saw an advanced AI being taught to reason in the exact same way, getting rewarded not just for being right, but for following a coherent, systematic, structured path to get to that answer.
And finally, all the way down at the molecular level, we found these mirror image molecules whose unique, coherent structure gives them a completely unique function, maybe even regulating our body's fundamental response to things like stress.
So what's the big takeaway here? From human thought to the silicon in our computers to the very building blocks of life itself, we keep seeing the same theme pop up. The most effective, the most resilient systems all seem to be built on this principle of structured coherence, a perfect, gapless fitting of all the parts. So, are we just now beginning to understand a fundamental pattern that organizes our entire world at every single scale? It's a thought worth tiling over.